Hey guys, what's up? Zombie here, and welcome to Surviving Depression. This is going to be a short series. I'm going to try and do 5 episodes, and I'm basically going to go over what depression is, why you might be having it, and ways that you can get around that. Ways you can survive depression, live with it, not really ignore it, but ways you can deal with the issue. Because a lot of people don't understand what you're going through, and I'm a person that actually does go through depression. I actually go through clinical depression, so I get really freaking depressed. I have tried killing myself before. I've come back from that, and I have not done it since, and I won't do that again because that scared the crap out of me of what I just tried to do and how I actually got that far. So I really want to help people out and stop them from making a bad choice that could, well, not just ruin their life, but everyone else around them as well. Because chances are, when you're depressed, you're not focusing on what's around you. You're focusing on how you're feeling. And that's a very true thing. And it's very unfortunate because I understand how hard it is to focus on other things and try and distract yourself. That's actually one of my biggest ways to get around depression is to distract myself and just focus on everything else. But first, we're going to go over what depression is. Now, there are several symptoms that people experience, and it varies from person to person, and also varies on the severity based on what type of depression you have. Because some people it's worse than others. Some people it happens from a traumatic experience. Some people, like some others, experience postpartum or post-depression. Was it the depression after they give birth? And then some people are just born where their brain doesn't pump out enough endorphins and different chemicals in their brain that help them feel happy. Their brain just doesn't produce it as well. So they don't feel happy unless they actively try and always make themselves feel better or go on medication. There are several ways to deal with it, and the medication, to me, it just sucks. It's not a good option, honestly. I hated doing the medication. I stopped a long time ago. And there are other ways to get around it because the medicine makes you feel like crap. I'm telling you, it really does. So that's one thing I'm going to try and go over with you guys also. But first, we're going to go over some of the symptoms that people may experience when they are going through depression. So, of course, the first one is feeling sad, or using the same word in a sentence, having a depressed mood. So, feeling sad, basically feeling really down, just not being able to kick that feeling of just hopelessness. And this first episode, guys, I just want to go over what it is. Because not everyone that listens to this is going to know what it is. They're not going to understand what you're going through. So this is for both the people going through it and not going through it to know which parts of what they're experiencing have to do with depression. So the first symptom is they're feeling sad. Of course, everyone who goes through depression has that. The second symptom is you have a loss of any kind of interest, or you don't take pleasure in anything that you were doing before. Like everything just seems pointless. That's the word that most of us would use when we're depressed. We think, oh, this is pointless. Why do I even bother? It's like it doesn't make you feel better. You just would rather sit on the couch and do nothing rather than try and do something that you used to enjoy. If you liked going on walks, or if you liked playing games and you just don't have the energy for it. And loss of interest in things that you normally love to do is a sign that you're going through a depressive period right then, a period of depression. Big changes in appetite, like not just not eating, but also eating too much. Because eating is basically how humans interact with each other. It's kind of a big thing for us. Food is a big part of our lives. And an unhealthy eating habit, like you suddenly stop eating or you suddenly start eating way too much because you just don't know what else to do. It's the same thing as being fidgety and not knowing what to do with your hands, like if you keep them in your pockets, or if you like to play with a fidget spinner or whatever. It's the same thing. You're keeping yourself busy. You're not hungry, or you're not too full yet. You just don't know what to do with yourself. So that's just another way to cope. That's another thing that you go through when you're depressed. And another one is a sleeping habit change. Similar to the eating habits, you can either get too much or too little, but a drastic change from what your norm is another sign that someone's going through depression. So if you have friends I'm going over this because some people are listening in hopes of helping someone they know, maybe a child or a relative that they know. So some people are listening to this in hopes of that. So I'm telling them also what signs to look for. Like big changes in energy, how much they have. If they're sleeping like all day, they don't want to get up, or if they're staying up all the time and they don't want to sleep ever. Those are both signs that there's too much on their mind. Either they're trying to avoid it and they're sleeping all the time because they don't want to deal with life, or they're sleep. I'd probably be more worried about the sleeping too much one, or they're not sleeping enough because they can't sleep anymore, so they try and keep themselves busy. Both of those are unhealthy, and you don't need like the solid 8 hours. That's not realistic. Not everyone needs 8 hours. Some people are fine with 7. Some people are fine with 9. It changes from person to person, but a big change from that person's norm is the big thing to look for. Okay, and the next one is a loss of energy. Like you're always tired. Even if you can't sleep or anything like that, you're just always tired. You have no energy. That's one of the big things. I've gone through that a lot. I understand you guys. When you're depressed, you don't feel like doing anything. You just don't have the drive for it anymore. It's true. It's not your fault, and there's nothing. There's nothing that you can do at the like that you've been able to stop. But there is some stuff you can do to avoid this. We'll go over that later. When you're trying to overcompensate with physical like with fidgeting and stuff, like you pacing back and forth, you're messing with pencils in your hand, you're always keeping your mind busy when you don't know how to. Instead of being productive, you just kind of fidget all the time. That's a big thing. Or if you're repeating things, it's not as big a symptom. It's not that big of a thing to worry about. But that's just something that happens. A lot of people are depressed. The next one is feeling like you're just worthless. And a lot of experts will say worthless or feeling guilty, but what would you feel guilty about? No, it's you feel worthless. You don't feel like you're worth anything. You don't feel like there's any hope. Why bother? What help? What good are you? Would anyone notice if you were gone? These are questions I've asked myself, and no, it's all wrong. You're worth plenty. You're worth a lot. Trust me. And I'll go over different ways that you are worth a lot later as well. We're going to cover all of this throughout this whole series. This one's an introduction, and it's going to be a pretty short one too. I'm going to try and keep each episode around 10-15 minutes at most. Okay, guys. Next one is you can't concentrate on pretty much anything. Like you're being very indecisive. You can't focus on one thing for like very well at all. Some people are just like this naturally, but when you're depressed, it's worse. Yeah, like all you're focusing on mostly is just the depressive thoughts of, oh no, I'm worthless. Why would I bother? Why do I want to keep going on? And you can't focus on making important decisions or unimportant decisions, like even as simple as what should I make the family for dinner? It's just not going to happen. And the last one is the most worrisome one: thoughts of death or suicide. Not everyone that goes through depression thinks about killing themselves. If you do, that's a sign that you probably do need to go seek help. And I do say that you need to seek help. You need to talk to someone, or you need to start up some kind of video series to just get your thoughts out to the world. Because even if it's not talking to anyone, just talking about it will help. Just getting it out will help you realize, oh, that's a dark thought. And that's not normal. Like when you're thinking about it, no. Because killing yourself does not just affect you. That affects everybody. I mean, you're affecting an entire town. It's not just you. Trust me. I mean, I'm a dad of 2 kids and I have a wife, and yeah, no. I've tried, and I actually did try it, and I survived it. I mean, my attempt failed, and after that, I looked back. I looked at the video I had made had scheduled for posting automatically at the time. I had like a whole statement and speech ready. I was ready. And no, I realized, wow, I really tried this. And that was my biggest regret, just the fact that that's just something that's there in my life now. That's my single biggest regret in life right now. And that was months ago. That's still in my mind, like, wow, I never want to do that again. My kids need me. My family needs me. I have parents that are disabled and they can't do anything they can't do some things without me. And there are people in your life that need you. They depend on you. They trust you. They look up to you. Even if you don't realize it all the time, it's just true that people do need you. Now, this is something important to remember all the time. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff we can go over, guys, but this one I'm just going to go over different basic factors that everyone going through depression will have. Now, like I said before, there are different things that can cause depression. In this list, there's 4 main things that would cause it. There's people, just the personality type might just be a really stressful personality type where they don't know how to compensate for things, and it just affects them over time. There's environmental factors, things around you that happen to you. So this would be a traumatic experience happening to you that you have no control over, that just sends you spiraling down into that cycle. There's biochemistry, basically how your brain works. Some people are just wired differently than others. It's a fact. That's how I am. That's how my mother was before me. My sister's like that. They're on medication. I chose not to. And some people just get depressed because their brain doesn't give them the proper chemical balance they need to feel normal. It just happens. And then, of course, like the last one is genetics. It runs in the family sometimes. Some people say it just runs in the family, and that's actually true. I mean, it's true. If someone in your family has depression, then chances are you or your kids, someone might also have it, or be at risk of getting that in the future. And there are a couple treatments that people normally treat. One of the biggest is, of course, medication, and that is like the biggest treatment that everyone seems to go for. They go to the doctor and they're like, "Oh, give me a pill to make me happy." Now, I can tell you that will balance things out. It will not make you happy. It will actually make you feel quite sick. And oh, heaven help you if you miss one single dose. Oh no, trust me. You will feel so freaking sick. I'm not saying that medication's not for you. It might be, and if your doctor recommends it, maybe that is the right choice for you. I mean, by all means, listen to your doctor more than me, because I'm a person that goes through one type of depression, but it might be different than what you go through. And they are doctors who have trained for like 10, 20 years in this field. Now, no one completely understands depression, but if sometimes medication might be what you need, but it doesn't work for everybody. And if you just stop taking it at any point and just suddenly cold turkey stop taking it, you'll go through full-on withdrawal. Like complete full-on withdrawal, where you'll be sitting in a corner shivering because you just feel like such crap. So it's just something to think about. If you start it, you gotta stay on it. And you can't just stop taking it suddenly. Something you'd have to wean off of. So that's something to think about. There's also what I normally do is I talk about it through my YouTube, through podcasts. I talk with people. That's called psychotherapy, which is basically talking it out. And for some people like me, that helps more than anything else, because thinking about things isn't the same as talking about them. When you talk about it, you hear it and you realize how it sounds when you're saying what your thoughts are, and it really does trigger a different effect when you're just thinking about it all the time by yourself. And it really does make a big difference, because not everyone thinks the same way as you when you're going through depression. Trust me. No, it's a big thing. And there are like electroshock therapies and stuff like that, but that's of course something that is not, I would not recommend. That's very severe treatments for bipolar or major depression issues. And that is something that only a doctor would talk about. I won't go into that. And those are the 3 main things that you can do to treat depression, but something I'll talk about several different ways with you that I've found. Like exercise, regular exercise, things like that. Different dieting habits that actually do help make a difference. Basically, what you put into your body, you get out of it. It's a very true fact. What you put into your body is what you get out of it. If you're going to put water into your car, it's not going to run anywhere near as well. Or put moonshine into it, it's not going to run as well as if you get premium gas or unleaded gas or different types of fuels. You know, I'm just saying, basically I'm just saying that what you put into your body, you get out of it. If you put crap into it, you get crap out of it. And it will show in your attitude and your brain chemistry what chemicals your body has readily available and it was able to produce based on what you put into it. This is something to keep in mind. So I'll talk to you about several things that you can do to just improve your life overall, guys. And it's not just going to be trying to cope with the fact that you have depression, it's going to be conquering it. We're going to be trying to survive this and then really just live life to the fullest. We're going to go for it, which is also living life to the fullest is also going to be one of the episodes. So, guys, this is all I have for today. I said I'd keep it around 10-15 minutes. We're at about 15 something now. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, or at least I hope you found this informative and helpful in some way, because I do want to help people. I want to show you that there is hope and that you are awesome. So just keep being awesome, guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to post, this is going to be on a podcast catcher. Probably you can find it on iTunes. Just look for Surviving Depression with Evilzombie. Yep, so that's what you'll look for it, and I'll just post up to, I think, 5 episodes. You'll see them every week. So have a good one, guys. See you later.